Good afternoon, Prescott. This is Pat Kuykendall live at the KYCA studio, sitting in the Lisa LaChapelle Dandos chair for the 4 p.m. show. What a beautiful day in Prescott. Nice and warm, a little bit of breeze, and a beautiful view from our scenic second floor here at KYCA, overlooking the beautiful creek right next door here on Henry Street. Hey, today's going to be a fun show. We're going to be all over the map. We've got some call-ins. But it's going to be a fun show. Today we've got retired Navy Chief Jeff Tim, who also works for Congressman Crane's office, and Sam McPherson, the newly elected commander, American Legion Post 6, 202 South Pleasant, who's going to be talking to us about Legion stuff. And then he's also got an event that they're going to be helping out with VA and veterans coming up at a place that he volunteers a lot of time for and sits on the board. And then we're going to have some great call-in guests. But, again, it's going to be a fun show. Let's start out with, what's going on in the community. Jeff, you were at a event today at noon that meets every Tuesday.
Yeah, actually, it's a combat vets group, meets Tuesdays at 11 o'clock in Bucky's restaurant on the third floor. And they have lunch and just great discussion with some great vets. Congressman Crane was there a couple of weeks ago, and they really enjoyed that.
Well, that's great. Tell us a little bit about your history in Prescott and also your military career.
I grew up in Tucson, Arizona, moved there just before I turned 3, and joined the Navy right out of high school, spent 20 years in the Navy, and while I was in the Navy, both of my brothers decided to move to Prescott, and so I came out here thinking on leave before I retired, thinking that I was just visiting, and I was going to stay in Virginia. And while we were here, I kind of had an ulterior motive, and had my sisters-in-law working on my wife about maybe we would move here. And about a month later, we moved to Prescott in 2008, and then I worked for the Arizona Department of Veteran Services for about 7.5 years, and then I got hired on at Congressman Gosar's office about 6.5 years ago, and worked there for 5, and had a short stint working for the Army at Embry-Riddle, and then Congressman Crane gave me a call and wanted me to be on his staff as his Director of Military and Veteran Services.
That's outstanding, and I don't know if I'm spilling the beans, but I just got off the phone with our former chancellor of Embry-Riddle before the one we have currently, but Embry-Riddle is going to have a new chancellor coming in, an Air Force enlisted veteran, and then also became an officer. I didn't get much information, but as soon as he gets his feet on the ground, we're going to have to welcome him to Prescott the veterans way, the right way.
Absolutely.
And get him engaged. So, Sammy, tell me about your career and your military service, and then we'll get into, I know I threw you kind of on the spot for talking about the Legion, but tell us about you.
I was born a Navy brat over in San Diego in '63 while Dad was serving. And as soon as his enlistment was up, we came back to his hometown, which is Prescott, Arizona, which makes this my hometown.
Right.
And I grew up here, graduated from PHS in '81, was hanging out, and decided I wanted to serve my country, joined the Air Force in '84, went into intercontinental ballistic missiles, and got to hit all the vacation hotspots in North Dakota and Montana, did some test launches out there in California. And all in all, I did 28 years in the Air Force. And when I retired, I moved back to my hometown here in Prescott. And I went into the American Legion there on 202 South Pleasant, where I became a member, and I've been a member ever since in 2014. And here I am now, 10 years later, I'm the commander. So they voted me this year to be the commander of Ernest A. Love Post 6 right there on Pleasant Street, and that's where I am today.
So how has the first 5 days been?
I have lists and lists and lists of concerns and recommendations.
There you go.
A lot of recommendations.
Everybody in the Legion has a recommendation.
Everybody does.
I'll give you my list in just a few minutes. But
sounds great.
Let's take a call from Lori. Lori, welcome to the KYCA PM show. What's going on with Trails for Tatas?
Well, good afternoon, Pat.
How are you?
I'm fine. How about you?
Doing good. Sorry to miss the dinner proceed thing at Texas Roadhouse last night.
Yeah, but her
It
two
was
favorite people.
amazing.
Yeah, your two favorite people were there, though. It was Jeff and Christine.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I had 2 tacos and a grilled cheese at Jack in the Box coming back from Phoenix, so I missed out. I missed out. So how's it going?
It's going good. So I just set up my next fundraiser today. It will be at
El
Streets of
Toro
New York
Norte?
on July 29th.
July 29th, Streets of New
And
York.
that will be an all day from 11 in the morning till 8 o'clock at night.
And that's the one in Prescott or Prescott Valley?
Prescott.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
Have we heard anything from Mr. Denny at El Toro Norte yet?
I haven't contacted him yet.
Okay, I'm going to do it.
I'm working on it.
I'm doing it. I've got him. It's my favorite. The Mexican French toast out there is to die for. So, Gary, if you're listening, that's my favorite, buddy.
That's right.
There you go. And any 4x4 events coming up? Any trainings that you guys are going to be educating the public on? Changing flat tires or how to put it in 4-wheel drive?
Well, actually, we're having an on-the-trail training. Oh, now you're going to throw me for a loop. I think it's August 20th.
August 20th.
It's on the Facebook pages and our meetup page. But we're actually going to, instead of just talking about what you're supposed to do, we're going to take them out and show them what to do.
Oh, wow, that's great. So if any of our listeners have a 4-wheel drive and are interested in attending, now do they have to have a Jeep only, or can they have any type of 4x4? Because
Nope, any type of
welcome.
4x4.
many people in the community have Land Cruisers.
I know, and we make fun of them, but it's okay.
There you
We'll
go.
accept them, and we'll teach them how to drive it.
That's okay. So, well, that's great. And I'm going to bring you on every month, and we're going to do an update. But any consideration on my good friend Mr. West yet? Did you look at the internet?
Actually, I made a contact last night that might work.
Perfect.
We'll have to discuss that. But no, I made a really good contact last night
Outstanding.
that I think will be very beneficial for all of us.
Amen. That's what we want to do. But and talk to us just a little bit about the Trails for Tatas and where the money goes and how long you guys have been doing this great charitable event.
This will be our 6th event in October 12th of this year. We raise money for the Bascom Breast Care Center to provide patients that are undergoing treatment for breast cancer, to provide them with items and services that they might need but can't afford, wigs, house cleaning services, whatever the nurse navigators feel necessary that will help them with their recovery.
Outstanding. Well, again, thanks for calling in. Thanks for all you do out there for Trails for Tatas and the Dignity Health Yavapai Regional Medical Center breast cancer, process over there and organization. And we appreciate all you do.
Thank you, Pat.
All right. Cruise safe out there.
Thank you.
All right. Take care. So, Jeff, what an honor it was the other day when you were out of town to be able to assist with Congressman Crane on the pinning out there at the VFW in Prescott Valley for our Vietnam veterans. Can you elaborate about the pinnings, how many you've done, where you've done them, and what's coming up in the future?
Yeah, so we started off, had one in Sholo. Trying to remember, I think that was in April, maybe it was in May, and we did I think about 36 pinnings out there, and then we sent out the notifications to around 4,000 veterans in Yavapai County. And we had the first event that, thank you for hosting or for emceeing that one for us. We really appreciated that. I heard good things about that event at the VFW Post in Prescott Valley. So we'll have another one coming up on July 5th at the Prescott Valley Post as well. And then we'll have another one after that. And I think that, it depends on how many applications that we get. We'll do as many as we need to. The congressman really enjoys those events, but he really likes to be able to talk to each veteran a little bit, and so we try to keep those events down to below 50 veterans at each event. So it might take us a little while to get to all the veterans that submit applications to get that pin from the congressman, but we'll definitely get to all of them.
Well, I just thought it was rewarding. I mean, and that we're not talking politics here. We're talking about veterans supporting veterans. and the way the congressman took the time to, pin the pin on their shirts or their jacket or their lapel, give them a challenge coin, and ask them about what they did in the service. And I think that's the piece that we forget. So many veterans events, it's let's get in, let's slam it, get to the bar and drink and move on. But this event was very passionate about, hey, what did you do? And especially I think the Navy people got a little more kudo, maybe just a little bit. But just I don't know why
that could be an Army observation. I don't know.
That was probably me.
Yeah, it was probably an Army observation. I'm sure that there was no bias going on there.
There you go. Hey, we're going to take a phone call from Kelly before the break. Hey, Kelly, what's going on?
How are you?
What's new up at Prescott Lakes?
Yay. Oh, well, we're getting ready for our fundraiser for Hungry Kids Project, so I really appreciate you having me on.
Well, Kelly, you are the best of the best. It's been an honor to work with you on many different golf tournaments up there. You and the Prescott Lakes team are so generous and hospitable, not only for raising money for our community, but helping out those in needs. And what an asset to the community the club at Prescott Lakes has been, and I'm sure will be in the unforeseen future forever and ever.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So what we're working on, our Women's Golf Association here at Prescott Lakes has raised money every year for the Hungry Kids Project. It is a great, as you like, we love these local projects, these local charities that go right back into our community. So it's making sure that we are taking care of everybody here locally. So what we do is the money that is raised goes right back into making sure that our at-risk kids have some meals and nourishing food during the school year, and when they can't get a good meal at school. So we are having a fundraiser. So what I'm doing here is I'm just looking for any kind of charitable donations, auction items for our mixer, which is in July.
Outstanding. Kelly, we're going to keep you on hold just 1 second, and then we're going to bring you back right after the break and finish our conversation.
Sounds great. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Kelly, and we're going to take a break. And we're back on the KYCA PM show, and we've still got Kelly on line one. So, Kelly, we were talking about the Hungry Kids Project, and you know, it's amazing how many of our children at the local schools go home Friday and maybe they don't have the nourishment for the weekend. They don't have the food available on the weekend because of, you know, just for so many unforeseen reasons. But the Hungry Kids Project makes sure they have foods on the weekends, and I think you guys also do it during the summer.
Yeah, they make sure that they have over 800 Yavapai Quad City at-risk school children were met with weekend nourishing food during the school year. So there's definitely a need, and it's a basic need because we're not talking a full-fledged dinner. We're just talking about basic food needs. So that's why I'm so passionate about it. As you know, I'm from this area. I'm from this community, and we should never allow any of our children to go to bed hungry. So that's where my passion comes from this. And like I said, we at the Prescott Lakes, our members are so generous, but we just love giving to this. I think they collected $35,000 last year, so we're definitely trying to meet up. I would like to get closer to 50 if possible.
Well, let's make it happen. And again, for our listeners, how do they either a website or a phone number to call?
Yes, so my email address, if there's anything they have they might want to donate to our auction, they can email me at kwelch@prescottlakes.com. They can also reach me here at the club at 928-443-3523. I am the Food and Beverage Director. Proudly I say that. And anytime they want to give me a call, I would definitely take any input or action items they might want to talk about.
Outstanding, Kelly. Big thumbs up for the Hungry Kids Project and for all that you do. And I'm sure we'll be chatting again soon. You have a great afternoon.
All right, you too. Thank you so much.
Outstanding. So, Sam, you know, we talk many times about transitioning out of military. You did 38 years.
28.
28 years.
28
okay,
years, yeah.
10. That'd been better for retirement.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But you transitioned, and what career path did you take after you retired from the Air Force?
Well, oddly enough, when I retired, I came back to my hometown here in Prescott, and I was hanging out at Ernest A. Love Post 6, and one night a member walked out and said, so what are you doing? I go, well, I just retired, and I came back to Prescott, and I was looking for a job. When I left, when I joined the Air Force, I was working at the Safeway on Willow Creek, and I thought I'd go back to Safeway. And the gentleman I was talking to, he goes, so you're looking for a job at Safeway? And I said, yes. And he goes, hey, Tracy, come over here. And this woman walks up to us, and he goes, hey, Tracy, this guy right here is looking for a job at Safeway. And lo and behold, it was Tracy Peters, who would later become my boss at the White Spar Safeway. She hired me on the spot and said, show up to work on Monday if you can work in the deli. And I said, well, if you can train me, I can work in the deli. So I left Safeway to go to the Air Force and left the Air Force to go back to Safeway. And I've been with Safeway now for the last 10 years. So.
And then now you have your own store.
Well, I don't have I run that store. I run the front end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah, I'm out at the Prescott Valley Safeway, and like I said, 10 years with Safeway and loving what I do, so it's a challenge every day.
But, you know, that's the whole thing is I think we get out of the military and we've got, you know, we're going to go to Indeed or we're going to go to Amazon and we're going to have this big corporate level job.
Right.
But you don't find those corporate level jobs in small town USA like Prescott.
Nope.
So you went back to where you came from.
And I was lucky enough to meet Tracy, and I look at it this way. I got my old job back at Safeway.
Wow, that's amazing. And I know
Yeah.
we're going to be talking about a golf tournament in honor of Dwight later on. And
Yes.
Hey, Tracy, if you're listening, hello. Hope you're having a good one. Hope you enjoyed the Grand Canyon. But now back into your role as the commander of the American Legion.
Yes.
That building has been up there a long time.
It has, and it needs there's repairs that come up every once in a while, every 6 months.
Sure.
We just renovated the flooring in the lounge area with brand new carpet.
Wow.
The floor was really dilapidated. I went in and looked at it after the person we hired to go in there and fix it. He tore up the old carpeting, and I could see where it was uneven and why, chairs were not being able to sit right or tables not being able to sit right because I don't think there was a level place on the whole floor.
Mm-mm.
So he went in there, he leveled it all out, and we laid down new carpet, and it looks like a brand new floor.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. And, it's just, I think so many people look at the VFWs in the American Legion, hey, it's a place for veterans to drink and they sit there all night and, you know, drink and go outside and have a cigarette and stuff like that. But, you know, the VFW and the Legion is so much more. Can you elaborate a little bit on all the positive, great things that the Legion does besides provide a place to have a cocktail?
Yes, I do. Prior to me being the commander for the entire post, I was the commander for the Sons of the American Legion. And as you mentioned just a little earlier, this last fall we had the Dwight Peters inaugural golf tournament in honor of a good friend of ours, Dwight Peters. And so we raised the money. But we raised that money to donate to the 4 favorite charities that we selected for the Sons of the American Legion for that year. One of them was Meals on Wheels. One was North Star Scholarships. One was People Who Care. And the last one was Disabled American Veterans. So we are always looking for, you know, ways to have these fundraisers because we donate all this money out to these local charities. Another thing that we did, though, is we donated money to an internal American Legion program called ALICA, which is the American Legion Law Enforcement Career Academy, which, unbeknownst to me, is held right here in Prescott at Emmanuel Pines Campground out on Iron Springs. Their graduation was this last Saturday, and Post 6 was out there in force for this graduation. And so we donate money to get the youth in high school ages out to this academy. It's 1 week long, and they learn the basics, the very, very basics of law enforcement and first responder responsibilities. And who knows, I might be looking at future leaders of the state in law enforcement at this very graduation that the American Legion supports. So that's what it's all about right there.
You know, that's amazing. And you know, one of my big topics is, you know, we sitting at this table and all veterans have so much respect for our first responders.
Yes.
And you know, my thing is, again, would we have raised our right hand to go serve our great nation if our families weren't protected here? And I don't, you know, and I don't think there is a better brotherhood or sisterhood between law enforcement, veterans, first responders as a whole. I mean, I respect them. They respect the veterans. Many of them are veterans.
Agreed.
And it's amazing. So it's a great how a veterans organization is saying, hey, we want to support our law enforcement, and you providing resources and money and even allowing them to do some training at the post when they need to have meetings. So we're going to jump into another break, and then when we come back, Sam, we want to go into the history of American Legion Post 6.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be right back with the KYCA PM show. And we're back with the KYCA PM show. Pat Kuykendall along with Jeff Tim and Sam McPherson talking about veteran stuff. I don't have a call in about an upcoming event. So, Sam, I know you sit on a board, and your board is going to be doing something for the VA and veterans.
That's right, Pat. I also sit on the board of directors for Prescott Federal Credit Union, which has been the credit union for veterans and VA staff since 1939 out there on the VA grounds.
Wow.
And so we had our strategic planning meeting the last week of May, and we decided that we needed to show appreciation for the people that have stuck with us this long in the little hut of a credit union that we have there on the VA grounds. And so this next Friday, the 29th, I believe it is, the last Friday of this month, we're having a free lunch for our members, veterans, and the staff of the VA, and also the Embry-Riddle staff and students, because they're on our charter, too, to be members. And so we want everybody to come out there and let us show our appreciation to the veterans and the Embry-Riddle staff and the VA staff by putting on a lunch for them that day from 11 to 2 out at the VA.
You know, that's amazing. I didn't even know there was a credit union out of the VA.
Your little hometown credit union there.
Wait a minute. You didn't know that?
I
What's
didn't
up with
know.
that, Pat? Oh, my
I've never
goodness,
even
I
been
knew
in,
that.
I've never been in the canteen.
It's right behind the canteen.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the little hut that's back there behind the canteen is where the credit union is, and it's been there since 1939.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can get 5-star meals at the canteen, just so we're clear.
Hey, I
Right.
like those parts. But you know what? Sam, thanks for sharing that. I mean, I didn't know about that credit union, but we know every credit union and bank in Prescott and Prescott Valley is so generous towards veterans, first responders,
Right.
giving back to the community.
Absolutely.
And,
Right.
you know, big shout out to all of our financial institutions for always looking at the selfless service, giving back to others. And just we're so blessed to live in such a great place that supports our veterans and our first responders. But let's go back to Ernest A. Love, Post 6, 202
Yes.
South Pleasant.
Yes.
When did they take possession of that building?
They moved into that building in 1930.
Wow.
That's how long we've been at that building.
But when did they get the charter for the post? Because wasn't it one of the first posts in Arizona?
It was charter number 2, and every post gets the number that gets assigned to the post is the number that they were in the state
Right.
when they were asking for their charter. We were charter number 2. I don't know what happened to make it charter number 6. I'm not sure on that history, but we got our charter in 1920. So between 1920 and 1930, we moved around a lot. And so all of the flags and everything that we had for our ceremonies and for our meetings were held by the members of the post at their homes. And then when they called a meeting, they said, okay, let's load them up and go to the Chamber of Commerce and have our meeting. And that's what we did for 10 years until 1930.
Wow. And then Ernest A. Love, the family
Yes.
of Ernest A. Love.
That family donated the house and said, we want you to have this house, and we want you to make sure that you name your post the Ernest A. Love Post. So that's why we're known as the Love Post
Right.
at Post 6 here in Prescott, Arizona.
Wow. And
That's
then the
awesome.
airport being named after Ernest A. Love.
Exactly.
And a beautiful we got to figure out a way to get a statue out in front of Ernest A. Love.
It's funny that you mentioned that, Pat. At our last general membership meeting, we were given a statuette replica of that statue that's out at the airport, and it's in our case now. We have a case in the wall that's dedicated to the whole life of Ernest A. Love, and that statuette is in there right now.
Bill Nebeker and Mary.
Yes.
They are the best of the best of the best of the best. They're the best of the best.
Yeah,
the individuals and the sculptures he's
Right.
done. But I've seen that Ernest A. Love. I go by the airport one when I run in the mornings.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the one in the post, but I know that it's there. But we're going to come back and dig into a little more after more history on American Legion Post 6
Okay.
when we get done with this break. And we're back live with the KYCA PM show. And before we get with Sam to go over more of the history with the American Legion, we've got rodeo queen Riley on line one. Riley, welcome to the KYCA PM show.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, I've got an admission to make. The first rodeo queen I've ever met is through the radio. How about that?
Oh, yeah?
And I'm born and raised here. What did I do wrong? Maybe I should go to the rodeo, huh?
I was going to say, are you coming to the rodeo this year?
I will come out to the rodeo. Can I get an autographed picture?
Yes, you can.
Outstanding. So, Riley, welcome to the show. Tell us a little bit about being a rodeo queen. Talk to us a little bit about upcoming rodeo and maybe some events that you guys are going to be at up till the rodeo.
So a rodeo queen is basically an ambassador for the sport of rodeo. So we spend our year representing and teaching about the sport of rodeo. And as the Prescott Frontier Days queen, I get to do that specifically for the town of Prescott and the world's oldest rodeo. It's very exciting, and our rodeo is very close, which means I've spent this whole year representing at different cities across the state. And my year is almost up because at the rodeo, July 1st to the 7th, we'll crown the new girls.
Wow. So was this a lifelong dream? I mean, did you as a little girl say, you know what, I want to be a Prescott Frontier rodeo queen, or did you, how did you make the decision to go for it?
I did. I actually was able to start rodeo queening when I was about 8 years old, and so you're able to represent different rodeos across the state, and so I was able to start doing that at a very young age, and I just had a love for rodeo, and Prescott Frontier Days is the state's most historic rodeo, and so very honored to be able to represent a rodeo with so much history and be able to learn more about it through my year representing and teach others across the state.
So you were talking about you do a lot of events, so so you'll be in the parade and you'll be at all the performances. What other things? Because that's got to be, kind of like Hell Week from the Navy SEALs. You guys are almost 7 days of no sleep and out there doing things and in the community and shaking hands and smiling and waving and riding horses. How do you do it?
It is definitely a tiring week, but it is a lot of fun to be able to meet so many people and go throughout the town. So like you said, we will be at every single performance, including the two on Saturday, as well as the parade Saturday morning. And then we do try and fit in as much as we can different visits to different nursing homes. And there was a preschool that had reached out that we were hoping to be able to make it over there to meet some kiddos. And it's a lot of work, but it's very fun, so it's rewarding. Well,
and I'm sure you're going to get a lot of last-minute obligations. Hey, can you be here? Can you be here? Can you be here? You guys will be busy.
Yes, definitely. We try and fit in as much as we can.
Outstanding. So the rodeo performances, you said July 1st through the 7th?
Yes, sir. So every night will be at 7:30 p.m., and then the last day on July 7th will be at 1:30, and Saturday does have two performances. So the first one will be at 1:30 p.m., and the second will be that evening at 7:30 p.m.
Well, Riley, you've been a great ambassador for the Prescott Frontier Days and the city of Prescott. We appreciate all you do. Do you have any shout-outs that you'd like to do before we move on?
Well, I am honored to be able to have represented such a town, and I've had so many great opportunities to further my knowledge with rodeo queening, and so I'm very grateful.
Well, we appreciate it. You have a good afternoon. We wish you nothing but Godspeed in your future endeavors, and have a great rodeo. And who's going to be taking your place?
Her name is Anna Butler, so she'll be taking over July 7th.
Well, we appreciate it, Riley. You have a great afternoon. Thanks for being on the show. And if you go to the KYCA PM show on the internet, you'll be able to listen to your interview.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thanks for all you do. You have a great afternoon.
You as well.
Okay, Nita has a tidbit on Ernest A. Love or two. Nita, welcome to the PM show.
Hi, how are you guys? You're doing a good job.
Did you?
Well, thanks.
Thank you. You want an autographed picture? The rodeo queens have autographed pictures. Maybe I need to do it. Probably not. So you got some information on the Ernest A. Love post?
Well, I just have a little tidbit. It's coincidence. Today I was going through some old pictures and stuff I have, and I ran across a picture of my granddaddy Gann, who was a Legion commander at Ernest A. Love from 1931 to 1937.
Whoa.
Wow.
Isn't that something?
6 years. Good for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Nita, we've got the commander on here. What if Sammy, or commander, I got to call him commander, respectful, but what if he was able to invite you to the Legion and maybe you could show us the picture and talk a little bit about your father and just share some of that history? Because if we don't do this, history's going to go away. And
I
so,
know,
and-
yeah. Well, I did take a little tidbit. I can't remember what it was exactly up to the Ernest A. Love, but I don't think it was anything to do with him being the commander of it. I think it was just some pictures of him in World War I or something like that, or World War,
But I'll bet you it would be awesome to be able for you to identify his picture on the wall.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Well, I'll
Yeah.
let you, Sam, and you want to,
Yeah.
how could she reach out? Maybe an email address or?
Yeah, I got an email address, SAMIE-MCPHERSON. That's my name, all lowercase, at gmail.com.
Okay. All right. I didn't get all
Tell you what,
that. I'm
I
sorry.
will, my number's 928
Okay.
713
Uh-huh.
9737.
9737.
And just give me a text
Yeah.
and we'll hook up with Sam and we'll get it done.
Yeah, that'd be
Okay.
great.
All right. Sounds good.
Nita, thank you very much for
You
the call.
bet.
Thank
Thanks
you for
for your
you and your
show.
father's service, and we appreciate all you do.
You bet. It was my grandpa.
Okay,
Oh.
your grandfather.
Nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, and you're one of Steve Blair's other mothers. That's what they're saying in here. So, well, great. We love Steve.
Okie doke.
Okay,
All
Nita,
right.
you have a great
Thank
afternoon.
you.
So back to the history of the Post. It's just so phenomenal. 3-story building, 2-story building.
It's a 3-story building. The second floor above ground is mainly the offices of all of the families that are in the American Legion. There's an American Legion. There's the Sons of the American Legion that I talked about previously. There's the American Legion Auxiliary, and then there's the American Legion Riders. So, and least I forget, those people that work the hardest there, the honor guard of the American Legion.
Amen.
They're out there posting colors and paying respects more times than I can count in a week. But all of those families have a office upstairs, and then the main floor is where we have our meeting hall and the lounge. There's also a kitchen where we have our fundraiser meals and our banquets and stuff. We just had the National Commander here a month ago. It was a great event. It was really nice and an honor to have the National Commander here. And then in the basement is where we have more storage because we always need storage. Everybody needs storage.
Right, right.
So, yeah, but it's a 3-story building, and everything that middle floor where the lounge and the meeting hall is, people can come in there. If you want to hold an event there, we will rent that out to you. And you can have any event you want there.
Wow, that's amazing. And,
It is.
And we're going to take our last break. And when we come back, we're going to talk more to Jeff and Sam about veteran stuff going on in the community. And we're back with the last 5 minutes of the KYCA PM show live here at KYCA Studios on Henry Street. And we've got Jeff Tim and Sam McPherson talking about veterans and things going on in the community and, just positive things that are going on in veterans, first responders. And what a great call from Nita. But, Jeff, what do you got going on?
Well, I just want to make sure that people know that if they need help from their representative, please call our office, 928-286-5338. Or you can email me at jeff.tim, that's TIMM, 2 M's, at mail.house.gov, and we can help with pretty much any agency, but I deal specifically with veterans and military issues. So that's primarily what I do for the congressman.
And that's Jeff. I sent you the request the other day from an Army reservist who retired or should have collected retirement at 60. He was now 76 years old, wanting to know, hey, how do I collect my retirement benefits?
And we're getting it done.
And you guys are getting it done.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But the questions aren't just, hey, maybe I had a problem here, or maybe I had a problem here. It's trying to get records. And, another thing that we talk about quite regularly is service members that don't tell their spouses how to do things if something happens to them, and all of a sudden you're getting a call.
Yeah, that was one of the most heartbreaking things when I worked for the Arizona Department of Veteran Services, was getting those widow calls that their husband didn't really tell them anything, and they had no idea where to go. And of course we would take care of them, and again do the same thing at the congressman's office as well.
So to all of our veterans out there, tell your spouses, tell your loved ones what you're entitled to, how to maneuver in case something happens to you, and it's going to make your family's life so much easier. And you're gonna be up in the pearly gates smiling down because you left a simple rather than a mess.
Yep, absolutely. There's a lot of places that need to be contacted on the death of a veteran. If if they're a retiree, you have to call the Department of Defense and report their death. You have to report it to the VA, Social Security, all those things that maybe in those moments of grief you don't think about.
And if a Vietnam veteran wants to put in for a pinning to be recognized, how do they do that?
Actually, that's all being run out of the DC office, and they sent out those invitations. Like I said, there was like 4,000 of them that went out to Yavapai County.
Okay.
So if they didn't get one, they can contact our office, and we'll definitely get an application out to them.
And you want to give your email address one more time?
That's jeff.tim@mail.house.gov.
Okay, Sam, you got the final countdown. The time is yours.
All right. Well, I really appreciate the time on the air here. The American Legion Post 6, we like to help our veterans here in the local area too. So if you have a little project that needs to be done around the house or anything, don't hesitate to call Post 6, because we are always looking for ways to help local veterans in the area. And that phone number is 928-778-6628. We have people that are dedicated to helping other veterans right here in the local area. And I just want to give a shout out to Sherm Scott III. He's my senior vice commander there at Post 6. And he let me know a little history on the flagpole that we have out in front of our building. That originally was from a mine in Humboldt, and they had that brought in. And he lets me know that to get that thing painted, we have to bring in the local fire department, and they do that every 5 to 6 years for us. So that's great coordination with the veterans and the first responders right there.
So, and you go back, so if somebody wants to lease the post, you guys will rent it out to groups?
Oh,
weddings?
Yes, we will. Yes, we will. In fact, my last uncle on my mom's side just passed away a month ago, and he's from Prescott, just like my whole family is. And his family is going to have his memorial right there at Ernest A. Love Post 6 on July 12th. And they asked me if I could hook them up, and since I'm the commander, I was able to reserve that hall for them. So yes, any group can have that, reserve that hall for meetings and stuff.
Yeah, and the cost is so minimal, and it just helps out the Legion.
Yes.
And in closing, we need to, with Sherm. Sherm's done so much history.
Agreed.
Maybe invite the community and learn more about the post, learn the history of the post, learn more about Ernest A. Love.
I think we need an open house in the future.
Okay,
I think we do.
We'll do it. And we just found out that Tracy is listening to the radio, finally. But Tracy, we
Yay.
love you. We miss Dwight.
Hey,
And
thanks for having us.
when's the golf tournament again?
The golf tournament is August 31st. It'll be out on the North Course at Antelope Hills, out by the airport.
Outstanding. Miss you, Dwight. Have a good afternoon, Prescott. And thanks to all of our first responders. We love you out there.